Okay, been trying to do this voice note for a couple of days now, but this this thing going around that it won't flip it again, and I'm have to be fighting it. So each time I try the voice note, it come across as something bad. So you'll forgive me as I go on because I can't wait no longer to get this out, and so I have to get it out. And what do I have to get out? I have to get out the message to the people of Eastern Westmoreland. Now, there's not much message that I need to get out to them because they clearly have taken matters into their own hands and they're not taking no crap from nobody. So I want to big up the people of Eastern Westmoreland, particularly the women who recognize that as women in their constituency, it is their responsibility to protect them 13 and 14-year-old children from this man named Dayton Campbell. And I'm glad to see them out telling him in no uncertain terms that they don't want him in their constituency. Eastern Westmoreland is a PMP bastion, and PJ built it into a constituency organization that was unrivaled. And PJ never have to be there every day. It was a smooth running constituency with giants like Noel Monteith running that place. And Luther Buchanan grew up in Eastern, born and grew up in Eastern Westmoreland. His mother herself was an icon in the constituency, in the area, wrote a nice book. I got an autograph copy of. Luther Buchanan's brother, Norman, was the one who was supposed to get the seat, but unfortunately, fate took a different turn and Norman left us, and Luther ended up being the standard bearer for the constituency. I must say, and it would be remiss of me if I didn't say it, that at first Luther was not inclined to take the constituency. Luther always see himself as him said those things above him pay grade. But all in all, Luther was a fairly good member of parliament. But as the young fellows and the young ladies told us when we went down there on our tour, that Luther's issue why enough people never turn out for him was that him stop representing people. And they have a point. Him stop representing people because he must busy walking up and down with bunting and undermining him party and him party leader. So Luther found himself in hot water with his people, whom he represented well, as far as the people can tell me. He might have his own issues with the people, his own personality and his own braggadocious ways that him have. But I think people are them born and grow. So why some people can say, Luther don't ever talk to nobody. That is not new for Eastern Westmoreland because these are the very same people that he grew up with. And his family grew up with. Maybe the young people that went take it from him, and I suppose him supposed to know that by now. that is the case. So Luther lost the seat by about 11 votes. And Luther lost the seat at a recount. And I want to make that statement in the first half. Dayton Campbell, on the other hand, as the comrades down in Eastern Westmoreland have pointed out, lost Burchell Whiteman's 3-term seat by over 2,000 votes. 2,000 plus votes he lost that seat by. And the people in Eastern Westmoreland is asking him a simple question. And they are making a simple point. The simple question is, what have you done in Northwest St. Anne that would make you not want to go back or make amends? Because this is where you're born and grow. Dayton Campbell born and grow in Northwest St. Anne in Bamboo. And I think his father still lives there in Bamboo. It's his hometown. And the people of Eastern Westmoreland is asking him the question, what have you done? What could you have possibly done apart from losing the elections? Because, people lose elections. But you lost the elections and you can't go back and run as MP. And the people are asking rightfully, why? Why can't you go back and run back as MP? Why can't Bunting go back to central Manchester? You know, those are questions the people are asking, and the people have a right to ask these questions because you are offering to represent them. And people are not stupid anymore. Where you talk about the party send somebody, so you're going to vote for that somebody. Nobody not buying that anymore. Nobody not that PMP nor that GLP to say that whoever the party send them are going to vote for them. That block of voters shrinking. Every day that block of voters shrink. That block of voters that says, boy, if a dog them sending a PMP shirt, they're going to vote for him. Or if a dog them sending a GLP shirt, they're going to vote for him. That block of voters are shrinking. Those don't exist anymore in any great numbers. Those don't exist in any great numbers where they can even influence anybody anymore. So I see that the people of Eastern Westmoreland are telling you people that they don't care about what you think about who we want to represent or represent the PMP, and them a PMP more than Dayton Campbell. So I want to talk to the people of Eastern Westmoreland a little bit because you're on point. You're hitting the nail on the head every time you go out there and talk about how you don't want Dayton Campbell in your constituency. You hit the nail right square in the head. You're good nails people. You don't know how to hammer a nail. Dayton Campbell became General Secretary of the People's National Party, and he made some promises on becoming General Secretary, on his way to become General Secretary. When he became General Secretary, he said that he's going to be a full-time General Secretary. He said that he was not going to seek any seat. He's going to be a full-time General Secretary, leaving in private practice to go be a full-time General Secretary. And he could afford to do that because the job of General Secretary and being on the EAC pays good. You know, just as good as doctor, maybe even better. But he pledged, he gave his word, and he made that pledge. That is what he's going to do. He's going to go around the country and he's going to build the constituencies and build up the party as the CEO of the chief operating officer in the party. He's going to do that. And he made that pledge. Now, the only responsibility anyone in this party have is that to hold him to that. That's all. Just hold him to that. Because when he said he was going to be a full-time General Secretary, he's never at party headquarters. Unless there's a meeting or a crisis or him going to interview from the office. He is never at PMP headquarters. Never. He's never there in office. Ordinary PMP people can walk into the office to see him like they could walk in to see Peter Phillips, or they could walk in to see Paul Robertson, or they could walk in to see Maxine and Wilson, or they could walk in to see Burchell Whiteman in his short stint as General Secretary, or Danny Buchanan. They could walk in and see these people. Nobody can ever walk in and see him. He's not there. And even if he's there, he's not available to the public. So there he has breached his first pledge to you, that I'm going to be there. He's going to be there, and he's going to be at 24 hours, 7 days a week, full-time General Secretary. And he, as General Secretary, is not expected to stay in the office every day. But I remember that Maxine Henry Wilson and Paul Robertson and Peter Phillips, they had days when the public could just walk in and see them, and the public knew those days. The PMP people knew what those days were, you know, and they could walk in and see them and talk to them about things. Plus, they were competent and top of the line deputy general secretaries that people could talk to if the general secretary weren't there. Now all them have is the future international scammer, Dexroy Martin. Somebody no one really talk to him. Every time them see him, them say thief, them say criminal, them say riser, them say liar, them say traitor, them say Judas. Nobody wants to talk to him. So Dayton Campbell have breached his first promise to the people, to the People's National Party members. He's not there. He's not available to talk to anybody. The second thing is, he said that he's going to go out in the constituencies and go out in the divisions and help build back the party organization. He has failed on that as well. He has failed miserably on that. And a matter of fact, his only involvement in the constituency and divisional organizations is the disruption that he's causing. That's his only involvement. The total disruption and divisiveness and quarrel and fight that's taking place inside of these constituencies and these divisions that he's presiding over these things. So that's the nearest he has been to going out into the constituencies and divisions to help build back party organization. When I was in the PMPYO, I believe I was either vice chairman or deputy general secretary, one of them. But I remember when Peter Phillips became general secretary and he said to us in our first meeting with him, you guys need to be on the road. You guys can't be in the PMP headquarters office keeping meeting. That's what Peter Phillips told us. Anybody from my era can back that up. Peter Phillips said, you guys need to be on the road. And we said to him, say, well, road take money. And Peter Phillips said, all right. Every weekend, no matter where he is, we find him and we get that money and we dip on the road. And that's how we built the PMPYO. And when I left it, it was a vibrant PMPYO. That's how we built it across the country. We never left no stones unturned. We were everywhere from Nigel Point to Moran Point. We spent days in bushes. And we're not talking about telephone and WhatsApp and Messenger and Facebook them time. We're simply talking about going somewhere. Just go. Get up 6 o'clock in the morning. And if one of we have a car, one of we usually have a car, 6 hours pack up that car out gone. If one of we do have no car, we go downtown early and we hold a bus. And we head to wherever bush. And we spend the day there. And probably night too. But Dayton Campbell don't know what organization is. So he can't go nowhere, go organize anything. He has no experience at the national level to organize PMP constituencies and divisions. He has zero experience. He couldn't even organize Northwest St. Anne. And he has zero experience at the national level. Now, he could have developed a little bit of experience after them fight out Lisa Hanna and make Lisa Hanna leave as region chairman for Region 1. And he took it up because the Burks them encouraged him to. The Burks them was behind that too, to get him to be regional chairman and to get rid of Lisa Hanna. So they did, and he became regional chairman. He discovered very quickly that being regional chairman for what? How much constituency? 2 in Trelawney, 4 in St. Anne. That's it. Just 6 constituency, and he couldn't manage it. In 1 year, him gone. He left in 1 year, so he couldn't do nothing. He couldn't organize not even the ones in St. Anne, much as to venture over into Trelawney. So he failed at that. Is only probably national organizational work that you could have had, or he could have gained some experience from, that would have prepared him to be general secretary for the People's National Party. He walked out on it in 1 year because he couldn't manage it. He just couldn't manage it. But the plan wasn't for him to stay and manage it. The plan was just for them to get rid of Lisa Hanna. And he was the guy chosen by the Burks to do all of that. Him and Wizzy and Ugly Lydia and the rest of Ugly Tiffin Council, them down there. And them organize and get rid of Lisa Hanna. And he couldn't manage that. So he left. And so you, the NEC members, gave him the job of general secretary. You gave it to him because you promised him, and Mark promised him. And Mark have to pay him back. It was payback for Mark, for Dayton Campbell. What was he paying him for? He was paying him for going on platform and disgrace himself like a big, dirty, nasty gal. He was paying him for going on radio and going on stage and call Peter Phillips boy. He was paying him for going out in the public sphere and cuss the PMP and cuss Peter Phillips and cuss all of the authentic PMP them and say how them can fix it. He was being paid for saying only the party want a leader with money. He was being paid for calling Lisa Hanna all kind of dirty, nasty names. That was his payment, being general secretary. But the people of Eastern Westmoreland, as I get off track, I just want the people of Eastern Westmoreland to understand in history that for making know that you're right. You are absolutely right, Eastern Westmoreland, for not wanting this guy in your constituency. Why can't he go back to Northwest St. Anne? I hear you asking him that question, Eastern Westmoreland. I hear you asking the question, Why don't you go back to Northwest St. Anne? I hear you telling him whatever mess you left down the way to go down to go fix it. Don't come up here, pardon me, and come try that same mess that you left down there that you can't fix. Pardon me. I hear you, Eastern Westmoreland, telling him all of that. I hear you telling him that whatever mess, because you don't want to say the words that you want to say or what you're thinking. So let me help you with that a little bit, Eastern Westmoreland. Him can't go back to Northwest St. Anne because he was the member of parliament who only help young girl with them school fee when them come visit him. And them have to come visit him. And him have to get to do as him like with them. And him have to go to them yard. When the parents ask him for nothing, him have to go to the yard, go talk to the parents them and get the parents them to make them young people go walk up and down with him and drive up and down with him. Him was the guy who was driving up and down throughout the whole Northwest St. Anne and beyond with all kind of 13 and 14-year-old and 15-year-old girls in him car, eating Kentucky. Him was the guy who in the car having sex with underage picnic and eating coleslaw out of underage pum pum. Him was the guy. That's why he can't go back to Northwest St. Anne. That's why he can't go back. I have nothing to tell them. Him couldn't sell himself to them. Him can't go back to them and say, listen, Northwest St. Anne, I was a good MP, right? I lost because of, the numbers were against us and the GLP did this. Him can't go back and say that. Him can't because he know that those are not the reasons why the people voted him out. The people voted him out because of him dirty, slack ways. The people voted him out because he was the man who driving up and down with young picnic and eat coleslaw out of them pum pum in a car. The frozen car we would have. So I'm telling you, Eastern Westmoreland, you're on the ball, you're on the dot with this guy. But let us tone it down just a little bit, Eastern Westmoreland, because I don't want to just bombard you with the nasty things, you know? And that gives me no pleasure, really, it doesn't. But let me tone it and just draw it back a little bit. The fact that KD Knight came out and KD Knight made the most poignant of points that could be named. No matter what happens in the PNP, if the chairman of the People's National Party and the general secretary of the People's National Party, a vice president of the People's National Party, go into a constituency with a desire to seek to represent the people of that constituency, the kind of pushback that you, Eastern Westmoreland, giving him, no officer could receive that kind of pushback. No officer. It is a disgrace to see that the people of Eastern Westmoreland come out against Dayton Campbell the way they did. And what I want to say to you, the broader PNP, is that it's not a small thing. It is a big, big thing that people in him face are telling him in front of him face. So them not with him if you go on back where him come from, go clean up the mess where him left, wherever him come from, and don't come up here, come make that mess. It's a big hell of a thing. You can't get past that. And then here's the other thing. I see Colin Hitchman walking up and down with Dayton Campbell, introducing him to people. Now, Colin Hitchman is the chairman for Region 6. And Region 6 have a whole heap of constituencies. I don't remember, 4 in Westmoreland, 4 in St. James, 2 in Hanover. That's basically 10 constituencies that Region 6 consists of. And Colin Hitchman does not recognize, and he knows, Colin Hitchman knows, that he represents the people of these constituencies. He don't represent Mark. He don't represent Dayton. He represent the people, the PNP people, the PNP voters in these constituencies in the region. And him have absolutely no right to be walking around with this pedophile, introducing him to PNP people, because that don't only reflect badly on him, it reflects badly on you, the people in the constituency, whom he represents. And you have to hold him, Colin Hitchman, to account as well. You can't make him get away with that. As a young comrade growing up in the PNP, Colin Hitchman was one of those in the constituency of Eastern Westmoreland in the region, and It's amazing. I'm telling you, every time that I have to do something, say something to you PMP people, some memories come back to me, and I'm wondering to myself if all of those things were preparing me for these moments. Because I remember Colin Hitchman at a YO meeting at Maud McLeod primary school at the time in Eastern Westmoreland. Colin Hitchman got up and he was speaking to the YO, and he said that you guys have to have integrity, and you guys must know that there is nothing else matters but your integrity, and you keep your word, and you go out and you do the work and hard work all. And he said his whole heap of highfalutin things, and I don't know how many people actually listened to him and took it to heart, but I listened to him and I took that to heart. He was telling me that I can be what I want to be in the PNPY without compromising my principles. That is what he was telling me. But look at him now. Well compromised to the max. Compromising his own principles, his own church going ways, because the church going mad. The man compromised all the way up to Kazoo just by walking around with an accused pedophile, introducing him to young women who have 12 and 13 and 14-year-old children. And Colin Hitchman walking around with him on the news, on the radio, bigging him up, talking about him, when his only responsibility as region chairman is to represent the region and to ensure that each constituency get the best representation possible, and to ensure that the PNP people are happy and contented enough to make them want to come out to vote. And him walking around with Dayton Campbell in tow, introducing him to people. There are about 3 young ladies and some young men them on the Eastern Westmoreland videos that I've seen, that you know me well and I know you well. And I know of a fact that this was not easy for some of you, because you know a PNP in Eastern Westmoreland, and this was not an easy thing for you to get up and go out there in front of the general secretary of the PNP and tell him, so you don't want him down there with a mess. Basically, I said to him, say, we don't want you down here and mess with the 13 and 14-year-old pick them. I hope a place down here not dark. I hope a place down here still not have no light. I hope a people still live in some little room. 6 people live in one place. Basically, that you not tell him we don't want you down here, because we place vulnerable. And we don't want a man like you down here because of the vulnerabilities of our own very deep rural communities. That's basically what I'm telling him. And I get it. I understand. But it is an amazing thing to watch on in him face, telling him that I don't want him down here. On a bravery, on a patriotism that has not gone unnoticed by me, because there are very few people left in the PNP with that kind of patriotism and bravery to stand up in front of a man that is undeserving of representing you and tell him to his face that you are not deserving of our votes and our support. That don't exist in Mark Gold in PNP anymore. And it's very heartening to see that the people of Eastern Westmoreland not taking this lightly. You can't have him down there. You have to stand firm and stand strong. You cannot have him down there. Him lose for him seat by over 2,000 votes. Luther lost his by about 11 votes. Now, I don't know the doctor guy. I don't know him. Some of you telling me things about him. But I know for a fact that him not polling so well. And I'm not talking about no poll that Dan Anderson does. I'm talking about polling when I touch base with every PNP place that I know him going to need support from. Him not polling so well. It's all him name. But him have some support. He does have some support down in the constituency. And I don't know him, so I can't make no judgment about him. And if it's him you want, then you have to make it your own way. But there's another question, Eastern Westmoreland, that you have to answer. There's another question that you need to ask him. There's something else you need to bring up with them. You need to say to them, Eastern Westmoreland, Luther Buchanan, the son of Danny Buchanan, the son of Dorothy Buchanan, the nephew of Danny Buchanan and Noel Monteith, Norman Buchanan's brother, middle brother, a son of the soil of Eastern Westmoreland. He mess up his own constituency by joining forces with Bunting. And I don't know what issues them and him have, but clearly him and them not getting along. Maybe it's Luther just tell them to fuck off and forgive my language, because Luther in mouth nasty too, and him will tell them to just go about them business with them. We don't know what is it that's transpired between them and Luther, but clearly Luther has walked away from them. And Luther Buchanan, I understand, wrote to the party about 5 months ago, maybe 6, and expressed to them his desire to come back to the people of Eastern Westmoreland and ask their forgiveness and ask them to vote for him and to be their candidate again. And the party general secretary, the party chairman, and the party leader, all 3 of them have that letter. And I want you to listen to me now, Eastern Westmoreland. And I want you to pick sense out of nonsense, because we're good at that. Luther wrote to them, don't you think, Eastern Westmoreland, that they should have had the decency to write back to him, to answer him? Tell me, don't you think that? Don't you think that it would have been the PMP way for the general secretary, the party chairman, or one of them, to write back to Luther and say, we have received your letter? If it's even that, we have received your letter. Just that. Being that he was a part of them team and them crew, he was the one who was on the road for Mark Golding and Peter Bunting. Being that so, wouldn't you say, Eastern Westmoreland comrades, that they should at least put him in a poll? They should at least put him to you. They should at least say, all right, Luther, say I'm interested again. Don't you believe that, Eastern Westmoreland, in the spirit of fairness and equity, and balance? Don't you think that should be in it? No? But no. What they did was an underhanded thing. Here's the underhanded thing they did. They know that a majority of PMP people out here want Damien Crawford to get a seat. They know that. They know that. I'm going to address that in another separate voice note at some point, or maybe even a live. But I'm not going to talk about that so much. But they know that Damien wanted a seat, and they know that majority of us support Damien getting a seat. Now, Damien would not be afraid to face any delegate vote or going to any poll. Them can poll Damien in any constituency. That Damien wouldn't have no issue with that. But I don't believe that Damien himself wanted to go to a delegate runoff with anybody. But even if him is a singular person in the race, just like how them have these one people thing where the people are vote yes or no, which is undemocratic, a total undemocratic process, they gave Damien a seat without him facing the delegates, without him facing a poll. But what they did was announce Damien's elevation to a seat with Dayton Campbell and Peter Bunting. So therefore, by doing that, they believe that it would just go past, because people would be so elated that Damien gets a seat, and nobody now notice that them give Dayton Campbell one and them give Peter Bunting one, who have issues with him. So I soon address that as well. There's too many things to address, right? So them do that one thing. They must throw the three of them in one little pool, and say, we announce all 3 one time, because nobody can quarrel about the 3 out of one time, because the Damien get a seat there. At the very least, since Luther, I know, is still interested in the seat because he wrote to the party, and the comrade doctor gentleman there, I don't know him, I show him enough respect to him, enough respect to him. If all of them interested in a seat and Dayton Campbell interested in a seat, then why not do the same thing? Why not do a poll? Northwest St. Catherine don't have much people interested in that, none that I know of. But why not do the poll? Why not face the delegates, so that you can have a say in who you want to represent you? Them don't want that, because you're not going to want Dayton Campbell down there. No matter what. If him away in the poll, you don't want him down in your constituency. And that's clear from what you have been doing and what you have been saying. Very, very clear that you don't want him in your constituency. So Eastern Westmoreland, you're on target and you're on the ball. Keep letting your voice be heard. Let them understand that you are not country bunking idiots. Let them understand that you go school too. basic school like me. Make them know say all of we go basic school. Make them know say most of them went to Maud McLeod Primary School. Let them know that uno not take no crap from them and uno no want a pedophile on the constituency because we have too much 13 and 14-year-old young people down there at risk. And these are vulnerable children in a vulnerable part of our country. And we do have to go into that because the statistics are clear about the vulnerability of our underage teenage girls in rural communities. And as soon I see you, Eastern Westmoreland, I see you, the mothers, as soon as I see the passion in you don't want him down there. You don't want somebody cleaner than him down there. Him not clean. Him not clean at all. Him is Mark Golden's boy. And Mark Golden want to reward him by giving him PJ Patterson seat. And you came out in a brave and patriotic way and say to him face loudly and clearly, we don't want you down here. Go on back and Northwest St. and go clean up the mess we left up there and leave with down here. I could choose between Dr. Hall and Luther. But we don't want you down here. I want to clear on that. I want to show the ease up. But I also want to hold Colin Hitchman to account. Hold him to account because he doesn't represent Dayton. He doesn't represent Mark Golden. He represents you. He's the region chairman for Region 6, which you live in, which you vote in. And his responsibilities and loyalties should be to you and nobody else. Don't allow this man to come down to the constituency. I promise you. And let me close by saying this to you in a very serious way. I don't remember the particular case that I'm telling you about. I remember the case, but I don't remember when it happened. And I don't even know if you know about it. But there was this case in the US where this man took his 16-year-old girl, daughter, and locked her up in her basement for ages. For years, she gave birth to 3 children down there, fathered by him, her father. And while all of that was happening in his basement, which he built a whole 2-bedroom, bathroom, kitchen facilities, everything down there, while him live upstairs with his wife, her mother, and some other children that they have, and none of them, not one of them, had any idea. When she was finally freed, I can't tell you the long and short of the story, is that one of the pitney got sick, so sick that no medicine that he brought could have helped, so he had to take them out in the middle of the night and carry them to the hospital, and the young woman got a little courage to walk to the nurse and tell the nurse that she need help when he was trying to come and get her, and the policeman, the security at the hospital hold on to him, and they arrested him and locked him up. The mother grieved. This is the part I want you to listen to me. The mother grieved for years afterwards of how naive and stupid she was that him have her daughter, both of them daughter, in the basement where he built an entire, it's something that him planned and built that place to keep her there, and raped her repeatedly, that she gave birth to 3 children. Now, what is the moral of that story why I'm telling you Eastern Westmoreland? The moral of the story is this. The people in Northwest St. Anne, knew what Dayton Campbell was doing. They know what he is about. Every single corner of that constituency, they know him. They're not naive. They're not stupid, because it was happening right under their nose. And it's when the whole thing burst out, some of them actually realized that his visits to them area and to them community and to them lane and his help that he gave some people, it was after the whole thing broke that some people realize. I'm telling you, mothers, aunts, sisters, who never thought of it. Never thought of it for an instant. But it came to them then. Oh God, some things just start come back to you. Some things come back to you and say, oh, Jesus Christ, that is why so and so. Right, that so and so. Right under their noses, it was happening. And now they know him. They know him. He was a guy who built that thing down in the basement and going on with all kind of things, and nobody knew until the whole thing burst out. He's that guy. So everybody know him now. And I'm saying to you, Eastern Westmoreland, don't allow him to come into your constituency. Don't allow him to come into your constituency. He is undeserving of getting PJ Patterson's constituency. He's undeserving. There's nothing in his political history that could say he's deserving of this. Nothing. He got Northwest St. Anne. He won it twice. He perform all kind of nastiness down there. Bill room down in the closets, down in the basement. Bill room down in the basement. Doing all kinds of things. And then finally, he went out and disgraced himself on national stage. Call him leader, boy. Yeah? Call Peter Phillips, boy. Out on platform about party need leader, smarty with money. Call Lisa Anna, pretty dunce. Took the region from Lisa Hannah, say he want to lead region, and he couldn't manage it in 1 year, left it. Took on the job as general secretary, saying that he's going to be a full-time general secretary, and he never did that. Spend all of his time causing disruptions from one end of the country to the next. Sow divisiveness and bitterness in the party. And this man want to come down there after you are used to calm leadership. This is the disgrace and the scandal and the nastiness that him want to bring on to Eastern Westmoreland. Him want to come down at Eastern Westmoreland, come build room in a basement. Because people like him, their proclivities and their desires don't leave them. Based on what psychologists have said about these people, him moving to Eastern Westmoreland is nothing more than moving to greener pastures where him think nobody don't know him. Moving to a new place. And then people want to escape them past, they move to a new place. People like him that move to a new place can't help themselves. In very short order, him start act out him impulses again. You can't allow him to come down there, come build no room in a basement down there and acting out his impulses on your children. It is part of your responsibility as parents and as neighbors and as citizens to protect your neighborhood and protect the kids in your neighborhood, whether they be yours or not. You protect them from people like him. So I'm saying to you, Eastern Westmoreland, you have it right. I commend you on your patriotism, and I commend you all on how you came out, your bravery, how you came out and told him in no uncertain terms, in front of him face. I like that. Matter of fact, I love that. In front of him face, never go behind him back or tell him nothing. The men in Eastern Westmoreland, the men, this little bit is for you, all the men in Eastern Westmoreland. Part of your job as men is to protect your women and your girl children. That's part of your job. So no matter where him come off on you, and what kind of sweet words him come tell you must back up on the women. If you know women, them say, them don't want him down there because him rare, you must back up on the women. And don't get sidetracked and misguided by money and bling bling and ray. Time stuff. I know. And he might get $20 million a year now. So he might have a few to come spread out pound down there. times tough. Take my foolish advice. Anything him have to give, no take it and run him away. Anything. It's not his money. It's government money. And him don't deserve it because him don't work for it. Him just sit for the EAC, does nothing otherwise than just go to the meetings and collect that money. So if him come and him offer on some money for do this and do that, collect. You know why one should collect? We've been working on the ass off of PMP for many, many months. And most of them still don't achieve anything. So anything them come with on the tech and then run him ass away. That is how they do it. Because nobody can chat to you when they take it. Nobody can deserve it and work for it or vote for it. But don't let this man into the constituency. I plead with you. Don't let this man into the constituency. And I plead with you on a broader scale. Don't give Mark Golding the keys to this country either. You'll be hearing from me again soon because I have some other things that I want to say in a broader sense in terms of the leader of the PMP. That is going to be, I'm going to do a next voice note to talk to PMP people about the leader of the PMP who wants to be the leader of Jamaica. And I know you hear a lot from me, but believe you me, you're going to want to hear what I have to say this time around. Don't let this man into the constituency. Don't let him come down here, come build a room in a basement. Please, I beg you. Thank you all for listening to me. God bless you all. Stay safe, everybody, and keep the kids safe.